Sitting there fighting a battle that was over when I had to relocate. You see, I ain't much for letting go. No, baby, I gotta hold on. Cause trials, tribulations, and relationships have all made me strong. These tears that I shed on the trail to bring you home. Mama told me that a man's own tears can make him strong. I'll sit around here and wait for you to come home. I'll cry, I'll cry.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowances made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips in the balance of the favor of fair use. Welcome to Blended Healing Black History Bites. Today we're going to be talking about Queen Khalifa, aka Khalifa, spelled C-A-L-I-F-I-A, or Calafia, C-A-L-A-F-I-A, or Khalifa, K-H-A-L-I-F-A. This article is from Africa House by Prophet Rastas, Rasta Live Wire. California, the land of the ever-living Moorish Empress Khalifa. Khalifa was a title of each empress. California was her land. She was known to be black of skin, the Moorish nationality, and ruled over islands and islands of black people from California, Baja California, to Hawaii. A Moorish island ruled by women. Pause. At the time of this report, she is known as they depicted her as being a fictional character in the 15th century, not 15th century, earlier than that, 7th century, maybe, book from a Spanish author. As we go, we'll be able to straighten that out. No, it's 15th century. Anyway, prior to Columbus. How about that? I digress. They made her to be out fictional. When I first learned about Khalifa years ago, it was said that she was one of the most powerful queens that was ever on the Americas. Back then, they considered California an island based upon the fact that it was a peninsula. So you have regular California on the peninsula that goes up, and then you also have Baja California, which is a part of Mexico. They considered that an island. But as we go to find out, California is vast. So as I continue with this story, I was told that her land and her reach reached all the way back across the seas to ancient Egypt as well. I was also told that her kingdom not only went from California and parts of Mexico, it reached all the way out to the lands, all the way through Arizona in that area. And it makes sense if you know of the story of the Hopi people. But that's something for you to research on your own. As I continue, the Moorish island of California was ruled by women. It was first mentioned in the records of Western European Christians in the 7th century and retold the Song of Roland, where a passing mention of a place called Califia was made, perhaps because it was Caliph's domain. Herbert Ingram Presley, Spanish conquistadors, told stories about a mystical Black Moorish queen that ruled the state of California, situated in the same location as present-day California. The modern state California continues the legacy and the memory of this great Black queendom and its queens. The story of Khalifa was later re-narrated in the book of The Adventures of Espladine, a book written in 1500, probably based on stories gleaned from the old Moorish seamen of Spain, Portugal, Holland, Belgium, and England. Khalifa is introduced as a regal Moorish Black woman, courageous, strong of limb and large in person, full in the bloom of womanhood, the most beautiful of long line of queens who ruled over the mythical realm of California. Her picture, or the statue that I have behind my picture, is one of a few of Queen Khalifa. May I pull it up for you? She supposedly commanded a fleet of ships with which she ruled and maintained peace in the surrounding lands and islands, including Baja and Hawaii. She reportedly kept an aerial defense force of griffins and other fabulous animals which were native to California, trained to defend the land against invaders. She was so powerful, she could project her imperial power over the seas of the Mediterranean at will. The Esplanade narrates that Khalifa maintained cultural and trading contacts with the Moors of Africa. It told of her wars in the Mediterranean seas and Anatolia, the Byzantine Empire in southern Europe. According to the author of The Adventures of the Esplanade, know ye that at the right hand of the Indies, there's an island called California, very close to that part of the terrestrial paradise, which was inhabited by Black women without a single man among them. They lived in the manner of Amazons. They were robust of body with strong, passionate hearts and great virtue. The island itself is one of the wildest in the world on account of the bold and craggy rocks. The crusader and conqueror of the territory of California, Hernan Cortez, and his men were familiar with the book. Cortez quoted liberally from the book, and it did have an influence on his decision to look for the island of California. As governor of Mexico, he sent out an ill-fated expedition of 2 ships, one guided by the famous pilot Fortune and Ximenes. The expedition did not fare well at all, and most of the ships and the men were lost. In 1535, Cortez led an expedition back to the land of Khalifa, or California, and decided to rename it Santa Cruz. However, that name did not stick, as the natives and the Moors and the Black Indians and the Red Indians and so-called whites continued to use the ancient and old name of the land, California. Cortez himself and his contemporaries appear to have used the name too. In 1550 and 1556, the name appears 3 times in reports about Cortez written by Giovanni Battista Ramasulu. Thus, over the years of increasing conquest and colonization in the R of the land of California, read between the lines, I can't say that word, the ancient land of the Moors has held on to its name and identity in the knowledge that one day it will be as it was in the beginning. African Americans and Queen Khalifa. In 2004, the African American Historical and Cultural Society Museum in San Francisco assembled a Queen Khalifa exhibit curated by John William Templeton, featuring works by artists such as the Arthur Wright and James Gale's artistic interpretations of Khalifa. The show displayed a 1936 treatment of Lucille Lloyd's California allegory, with Queen Khalifa as the central figure. Templeton said that Khalifa is part of California's history, and she also reinforces the fact that African Americans had always been in California. Khalifa is a part of California's history, and she also reinforces the fact that when Cortez named this place California, he had 300 Black people with him. And throughout the whole Spanish-Mexican War, 40% of the population was Black. Templeton pointed out that most of the navigators of the exploration to the New World were African, because Africans knew how to get to the New World. For instance, Columbus had a Black navigator. Moorish folks had been going back and forth between Africa and America from the dawn of time. All they had to do was to get in the wind right off the west coast of Africa. A Moorish emperor, Abu Bukhari, took 1,000 ships to the New World in the 1300s. So Moorish navigators and seamen were highly sought in those days that the previously land-bounded Europeans were in their infancy in navigational and maritime sciences. A Black man used to own the San Fernando Valley. That was Pio de Jesus Pico, 1801 through 1894. He was also the last Mexican governor of California. In total, in the 1800s, there were at least 4 Black governors of the state of California. Dr. William E. Hoskins, director of the museum, said that the very few people know the story of Queen Khalifa. One of the things we're trying to do is to let people have the additional insight and appreciation of the contributions of African Americans to this wonderful country, and more specifically to the state of California. That ends part 1 of Queen Khalifa. Please come back so we can continue her story. Ashe, ashe, ashe to each and every one of you. And I shall see you all very, very soon.
Fighting a battle that was over when I had to relocate. You see, I ain't much for letting go. No, baby, I gotta hold on. Cause trials, tribulations, and relationships have all made me strong. Oh, girl, I cry. These tears that I shed on the trail to bring you home. Oh, girl, I cry. Mama told me that a man's own tears can make him strong. Oh, girl, I cry. I'll sit around here